Opening ceremony of this year's Winter Olympics is underway in Beijing. This is the scene at the main stadium known as the Bird's Nest. The rim is decorated with the flags of the 91 competing nations and regions. The ceremony is due to last around 2 hours and it will culminate in the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. Few global leaders have gone to Beijing to be at the opening, but the Russian President Vladimir Putin is there. This morning he held a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, who gave his support to Russia's security and foreign policy aims. It comes at a time when many in the West fear President Putin is planning to invade Ukraine. China also gave its backing to the demand that NATO halt its expansion. Well, let's go to our China correspondent Stephen McDonnell, who's at a pub where people are watching the opening ceremony, which is taking place a few miles away in the iconic Bird's Nest Stadium. So, Steve, what's the atmosphere there?
Well, people are pretty excited here at the Jing'e pub in Beijing. As I'm sure you can tell, there are quite a few families have come in here, the sort of kids sitting on their parents' laps and the like. You know, people would have loved to have been able to buy tickets to go to the opening ceremony, but because of COVID, they've not been able to do that. Like, they can't buy tickets to anything, actually. So this has become a television event for ordinary Chinese people. That said, they're making the most of it and coming out to the pub tonight so they can watch it together and at least have a bit of a community feeling. Otherwise, it's just sitting at home watching it with your family. So, given the restrictions, I mean, there's disappointment. People are still pretty happy that it's on. They're proud to have the Olympics in China, and you know, here they are being part of history, really.
And just mentioning there the lack of international guests, but Vladimir Putin is one of the few world leaders there.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the leaders who are there. You've got Vladimir Putin from Russia, Imran Khan from Pakistan, high-level representatives from Papua New Guinea, Saudi Arabia, but you're sort of quickly running out of leaders that anybody would recognise internationally. There's sort of lower-level officials coming. I mean, compare this to the 2008 Summer Games. There were world leaders galore in the Bird's Nest Stadium. It just shows the different position that China's in terms of its relations with the world. You've had a diplomatic boycott this time round from many countries because of China's human rights record, because of its alleged ill treatment of Uyghurs, Tibetans, human rights lawyers and the like. You know, it's a very different atmosphere, and these comparisons will be made. People are going to be looking at the opening ceremony that's going on right now and comparing it to 2008. Not only the world leaders who've turned up, but the messages that are coming out from China, the way it's being choreographed. We've got the same director, Zhang Yimou, in charge of both ceremonies. Now, what messages will he be sending out tonight compared to 2008? I think there'll be a lot of column inches spent on this very topic in the coming days.
Does that diplomatic boycott cut through there in China with the people, not just the politicians?
Well, I think if you wander around in here tonight, not really. I think now that the games are on, they might have heard that there was something of a boycott on, but I mean, who knows what leaders go to most of these things anyway, really. For the average punter, it's now all about the sport, and so, yeah, for them, I don't think it makes any difference. Now, the Chinese government was unhappy about it. We heard that from them when they had press conferences condemning the countries who said they wouldn't be attending. But if you're speaking about ordinary people in China, right now, I think they're mostly pretty proud that the games are on. I mean, obviously not everyone is, but everyone we've spoken to in the streets in the weeks leading up to it have said how excited they are. And so, you know, it's hard to deny that there is a real, a sense of pride in all this, despite everything.
Thank you, Steve McDonnell.